Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, May 28th of 2023. Now it is a beautiful day here in Salt Lake City. We've had a ton of rain all week, really hard rain. And we've got a little bit of rain that's supposed to happen today, but I'm going to get out and get some hiking happening as soon as I'm done filming this for you. So I hope it's a beautiful day, a beautiful morning wherever you are in the world. I'm sure that it is. Now I read actually two books this week, and they were both on Audible, so it makes it really easy for me. If I'm driving somewhere, I'll just put it on, even if it's for a few minutes. And I'm one of those people who listens to my books at 1.5 speed typically. And I know some people are like, how can you listen to it so fast? But my brain, that's just the way my brain works. And I was able to actually listen to two full books this week. Now, one of them was the autobiography of Ram Dass, which I've loved his work and his wisdom for a long time. Many of his quotes are just so deep and so beautiful. But there was a lot of things I didn't realize about him. And I guess this is where autobiographies come in. You get to learn the depth of a person. And this book was written very near the end of his life. So this is very much a suggested read. If you love Ram Dass, maybe you've never heard of him. But this was a very good book, especially the last few chapters were so relevant and so beautiful that it's a perfect reminder of why we're here. Now, the second book is a little book that many of you might have heard of, and it's written by a woman named Sherry Carter Scott, and it's called If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. And it's almost like these are some of the things that we forgot after we were born. When we were born, it's like there are things that we forget as human beings. So what I thought I would do is go through these 10 things, just really quickly, put my little spin on it. And this just felt like a really good reminder of, the reason we're here and the things that we can learn while we're going through life. In fact, my thought is this: if even one of these rules can completely change the way that we show up every day, then it's completely worth reading this book. And I wrote down 2 beautiful pages of notes. When listening to this book, it was kind of like, I think I need to start taking some notes because these are pretty pivotal. So number 1 is that you will receive a body. You are an eternal spiritual being that has come into this reality, and your body is your avatar. This is how you experience all of your senses. What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you feel. Your feelings are part of your spiritual being, but we are these eternal spiritual beings. And being on this planet, we come into this body so that we can experience all of these amazing things. And this is number 1. This is such a beautiful gift that we have every day. Now, number 2 is that you will receive lessons. You are enrolled full-time in a school we call life. It helps us grow as spiritual beings. So we get lessons all along the way, right? This is, I just believe this is what we chose. And here's the thing. We came in at this really pivotal time in human history where I believe we're at the end of this really long cycle of different things, of humanity being stuck in old systems and planetary cycles and shifts. There are so many big shifts, and we need to remember that we are here not only to witness, but to make a big change. And here's the thing, if that doesn't resonate with you at all, just know that when you learn these lessons that you're going through life with, you have the ability to simply change the energetic feel and the consciousness of the planet just by your actions. And to me, that's such a beautiful thing. So number 3 is there are no mistakes, only lessons. So how many times do we beat ourselves up for things that we would say, I made a mistake, I made a mistake, and we literally beat ourselves up. And they're not mistakes, they're lessons. In fact, I have a really good example of such, it's actually such a big lesson that could have been looked at as a mistake. So about 25 years ago, maybe 26 or even 27 years ago, I moved to Salt Lake City from California to build a fitness center, a health club with one of my sisters. And, I'd been in the fitness industry for 20 years before that, and it was maybe not that long, maybe 16. Anyway, I was in the fitness industry for a really long time, and I adore all my sisters, and this is a sister who we thought, we had this great idea, we found this amazing spot, we built this, from the ground up, we built this beautiful health club, and we were a disaster as partners in this business to just tie it all together and cut to the chase. And it was very painful when we separated ways. It was painful for both of us. And luckily for both of us, we realized very quickly that we are still good people, and it wasn't a mistake. What we did was so big and so huge, and the lessons that we learned and what it did for all of the things that we took into our life moving forward with different business ventures, different relationship ventures as far as how we interacted with people, that might have been looked at as a massive failure, or the biggest mistake ever that we went into business together, or everything about that experience could have been looked at as a huge mistake. And it even could have wrecked our relationship as sisters. And like I said, we realized so quickly. There were times in the beginning when it failed, when we struggled a little bit with each other, but it was within a few months. It was like, wait a minute, what is the most important thing here? My relationship with you as my sibling is the most important thing, and we have a very, very close relationship all of these years later, and we're both so grateful. We have talked about it over the years on a very deep level, and we say how grateful we are that we were able to have that experience because of what it did for even our business life and our interaction with other people along the way, because we learned so much. So there are no mistakes, there are only lessons. So number 4 is lessons are repeated until they are learned. Right? This one is a little bit uncomfortable. Once you get the lesson, it's done. So for example, forgiving someone. I can think of another close person in my family who there seems to be lessons that of forgiveness that need to be learned, and it's a back and forth thing. It's just not one person. But here's the thing: when you learn the lessons and you really learn them, you will know, because you are no longer attracting that. You're no longer attracting those same lessons into your life. And this can be in anything. Not just in relationships, even though that does seem to be a big thing. And it can be relationships not just with family, but with friends and colleagues and people we come in contact with. But this can be things like financial lessons. We're going to learn the same thing over and over and over until we learn the lesson. And then it's literally done. You're no longer attracting that to you. So what I would say is really drill down, journal some of these things. What is it that's keeping me stuck in this lesson that I keep needing to learn over and over and over? So lessons are repeated until they are learned. That one is, let's learn these lessons and move on to the next one, right? Number 5, learning lessons do not end. If you are alive, that means there are still lessons to learn. There is a reason you are here. So if you're still alive, if you're a living, breathing human being, that means you still have lessons. You have lessons to learn until the very last breath you take. And this is really, this is maybe the reason I read Ram Dass at the same time I read this other little book this week. The lessons that he had learned, and especially during the last part of his life, until he took his last breath, you can just tell that the lessons were still coming in, and it was just like, they are almost like, wow, wow, wow. And I would say the faster we can evolve and learn these lessons, the more higher content, higher value lessons we're going to keep getting. And I think that's what we're all after, right? Okay, so number 6, there is no better time than here. There's no better than here. Be here. Be here now. You know, that is definitely a Ram Dass quote. I think that was the name of his book, Be Here Now. We spend so much time obsessing about the past without forgiving it, learning the lessons, being grateful for it, whatever it is. And I'm not saying forget the past, but we spend so much time thinking and rotating and being bothered about the past sometimes, right? Rather than being grateful for it. We can even reframe the past so that it has a completely different meaning in our present. But then we do the same thing, stressing and worrying about the future. And this is again where I say don't mistake that for being prepared for the future. There is a difference between being prepared or always reaching for something that's in the future. Be here now. When you sit with someone, truly listen to them with your eyes, with your ears, with your body language. Respond to them. In fact, I will tell you, this week I was in my kitchen making myself some lunch. It was the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, and I saw coming up the walk my cute mail lady. She's been delivering my mail for many, many years. She's a lovely, lovely, evolved human being. Her name is Jody. Jody, if you happen to be watching this, serious shout out. You are an amazing human. But as she was coming up to my door, because she had a box that didn't fit in my box, I met her at the door. And as usual, I'm like, Jody, hey, how are you? And as, you know, you could tell she was, it was a split second. She was trying to keep it together, but she burst into tears. And apparently there's this whole bit of shakeup at the U.S. Post Office. She told me the whole story. I pulled her into my house. We talked for 15 or 20 minutes, and you know, she lost a chunk of her salary. There's still stuff going on, and it was just this moment that I was there for her, but it was for me too. We're here on this planet to help each other, and I think that if we can be present and be aware, there are moments when others need us and when we need others. And think about when you really want to say something or get something off your chest, or you had something emotional happen to you, maybe at work that day, or with your kids, or you're sitting with your spouse. Maybe they're distracted by their phone, or maybe they're looking past you while you're talking at the TV, or, you know, when we can really be present, this changes everything, not just for ourselves, but the people that we interact with. I think this is honestly one of the most beautiful, important things that we can bring into this life while we're living it. So this is what I expanded. This moment right now is where you want to be. Most of our life, we're looking to the future or the past. You know, it's just, you know, so there's a reason that this keeps being said over and over and over. Be here. Be present. Live in the now. Live right now. There's no other moment that will be like this moment. No other moment will be exactly like this moment. And we don't want to miss them. If find yourself caught scrolling social media, you know, I talked to a couple of people this week who literally said, in fact, I went hiking on Friday with one of my really good friends, and this was, you know, she's my age, and she's got 2 sisters, and her sisters are just a little bit younger than her, so we're all around the same age. And we were laughing about how even at the age we are now, it's so easy to get caught scrolling on some of these social media platforms that have these little short videos. And before you know it, 30 minutes are gone, or longer for some people. So I would really challenge you that if you find yourself caught in these little situations where you're full on distracted, to really pay attention and remove that addiction, that behavior, that distraction, and really let yourself be present. I truly love that. Okay, number 7. This one is big and really kind of cool. Other people are merely mirrors of you. Whoa, right? You cannot love or hate something about someone unless it reflects to you something you love or hate about yourself. Whew, how does that feel? Like, I remember when I first was reading this chapter, I was like, holy moly. It was like, anything, if I see in someone that I'm immediately judging them on, that is something that is merely a reflection of what I see in myself. So let me read that again. You cannot love or hate something about someone else unless it reflects to you something you love or hate about yourself. Other people are just mirrors. Now you realize that the question is not, how do I change everyone else? The question now is, how do I change myself? How do I work on myself? And I believe that going forward with these amazing changes that are happening in our world right now, that this is how we do it. It's an inside job. It's us. We get to be the mirror. We get to push out and be the change. There's that saying, be the change you want to see in the world, right? That one, I would say, is one of my very favorites. Number 8. Well, actually, let me finish this. Oh no, number 8, that is the end of that one. What you make of life is up to you. So what you make of this life is fully on your shoulders. It's all you. It's all you. Everything in life is fundamentally neutral, other than the meaning you give it. So everything is basically neutral, unless you give it a certain meaning. So you have all the tools and resources within you. So if there's something that you want to do, rather than just thinking it's too hard, or you don't have the money to do it, or you don't have the people in your life to do it, to help you, or, instead of thinking I don't have the resources, become resourceful. And I know there's a famous Tony Robbins quote along that line. Something about, if you don't have the resources, become resourceful. There are so many tools, especially with modern technology. There's something you want to learn to do, jump on YouTube. How do I do this? How do I do that? You can literally find out and do anything. Talk to different people. Search it out. Become resourceful. So what you make of this life is up to you. Number 8. So number 9 is this. The answers to life's questions all lie within you. Tune in. We forget we have this powerful higher self. We have this inner guidance. We have this intuition. We are powerful beings, and we are connected directly to Source. We have all that. So the answers to life's questions all lie within you. I think we're so busy looking for things outside of us, searching, and I'm not talking about searching how to do things, what I was just talking about. I'm talking about the answers to life's questions all live within you. That is such a powerful place to become. Now, where I really discovered this on a really deep level is through a regular practice of meditation and journaling. I can sit with this journal in a quiet place with no technology, nothing to distract me, except for maybe the distraction of Mother Nature, which sometimes with the birds and the wind, and if it's maybe rainy or whatever. But that is not really true distraction. That is like being connected. And when you tune in to that higher part of you, all of the answers, if you have a big decision to make, get quiet. Remove yourself from all the noise. Really start getting meditation as a part of your life. And I've said this before, but guided meditation is where I really found my place of meditation where I had other people, and I found most of my guided meditation on YouTube, on different channels that were just, I would go, lay in a bed or sit in a chair, close my eyes. Most of the time I put my my earplugs in so that I was just in my own quiet space. And that enabled me to actually do meditation with just by myself and my notebook and my journal. So that's a beautiful, beautiful one. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust your higher self. Now the last one, number 10, is you will forget all of this at birth. Okay? So whether or not you believe in multiple lifetimes, whatever it is that you believe, even if you just believe that you're this eternal, spiritual, conscious being, and you've come into this world to have these experiences, all these things, these experiences, the lessons, all of this. But we forget everything when we're born. Now, what I believe is we forget it as we get older, because if you've ever taken a moment when you're holding a brand new baby and you look at them, you can feel they are still connected to Source. They are still connected to God. And you can see it, you can feel it. It's one of my favorite things. And my parents gave a gift to me as the second oldest of 14 kids that I was around when most of my siblings were born. And I remember as a very young child, a new baby would be born, a new sibling, and because there were so many of us, and there continued to be so many of us, some of us older kids got to spend a lot of time helping take care of the babies and the toddlers, and it was amazing. And I spent hours as a teenager holding and loving on these brand new babies that came in as my siblings. And the gift was unbelievable. And I will tell you, I send up so much gratitude for my parents for this. I think really just it really dawned on me, I think, in just this moment. So, wow. Hold a baby if you can, and feel that. So you will forget who you are so that you can go. You will forget who you are so that you can go through the process of remembering who you are. I think that's a perfect place to end this. We forget so that we can go through the process of remembering. We can forgive, we can love, we can realize why we are here on this planet, and all of the things and all of the beautiful things that it gives us. Forgive quickly, learn that lesson and move on. And if there's something else, learn it. Speak out, forgive others. If you need to ask someone for forgiveness for something you did, reach out to them. Be the person who is evolving at this beautiful time. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. Life is amazing, and I know I'm this super positive person. I sometimes get a little bit of flack from some of my family members every once in a while. It's a little bit of teasing about my super positivity all the time. And every once in a while, I'll even get a little bit of that from, some people who watch this video who I've not had the pleasure of meeting in person. And it's always interesting to me. It used to kind of not necessarily hurt my feelings, but it would be kind of like, oh, you think I'm way too positive. Okay. And now I just, it actually feels like this huge compliment. And I will take it all day long. So thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. I hope that your day is brilliant and beautiful. Next Sunday when I talk to you, it will be June of 2023. Here we go, right? Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful day. Subscribe if you're not. Hit the thumbs up. It always helps. And we will talk to you soon.